Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Hatha Yoga Mama podcast. I am your host, Kelsey, and today we are talking about how I manifested my way to India the first time, my first soul trip there, um, and how that all came about. So, if you've tuned in at all, you know that when I really started diving into yoga and the practice of it, like the physical practice and learning from someone, and learning meditation from a teacher and all of those things. I was a very broke art student in Grand Rapids, Michigan, just really struggling to get by. So the fact that I even had these dreams of like I'm going to go to India and I'm going to learn from the horse's mouth all of these practices, and I'm going to really immerse myself in this really deep practice and come back knowing just all of these new tools and stuff. I just was like, it was just happening. I just knew it was going to happen. And I told these things to my teacher, Stephanie. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do it. Like, a plane ticket there is like even more than I can imagine spending on anything. And like, let alone I need to pay then for like the schooling and just all of the things. Like, this is expensive. And to me, expensive was like, $3,000 to $4,000. This is an expensive trip. And luckily, India is quite cheaper to travel in if you're coming from America. Once you get there. But I mean, flying there and stuff is pretty costly and all the things. And let alone I had to like update my passport and get like a visa and all this stuff that just kind of seemed overwhelming. But I was like, I'm doing it. Like, I have no money and no plan, but I'm doing it. And it was that kind of like just dumb ignorance that I really kind of miss and need to embrace more of in my 30s now. Then I am a mother of three, and like I definitely try to plan more, and I try to like take a little bit more concerned action, or like not concerned, but like planned action, I guess, and like not take risks and blah 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 to a certain degree. But like at the same time, there is a little bit of magic in the fuck it, like in the just let it go. Like, we're just doing it. Like, we're doing it. This is the intention. I'm excited about it. Like, these are the feelings, and like it's happening. I know it's happening. Don't know how, and I don't really care how, but I just know, and I'm open to it happening. And it's that kind of really just blissful thinking that really does power your manifesting. And so with that, I told my teacher Stephanie I wanted to do it, and she's like, "Do it, go for it. You can figure it out. I bet you can figure it out. Are there scholarships for this kind of thing, whatever." So of course I start searching for grants and scholarships and blah blah blah. And lo and behold, I found a school in India I really wanted to go to in Rishikesh, India, so like northern Himalayas, like birthplace of yoga itself. Like, I was just like, yes, we're going here. This is amazing. And it was like a 6-week intensive. You live in the ashram, you eat all the yogic food, you are doing the things day and night, live, breathe yoga for, 6 weeks straight. And I was just like, yeah, that's what I want to do. And so then I saw that they did have a scholarship program, and that one person per like student batch, was awarded. They like left a spot for a scholarship participant or person, where it covered the full cost of the course and the room and board and food and all that stuff. But of course, you still had to pay for transportation and anything outside of that. You still had to have your own money, obviously. So I saw that and I was like, I'm gonna do it. Like, I'm getting a spot, and I'm gonna do it this summer. And I looked at their schedule. I picked out like where I wanted to be, which kind of like cohort or whatever. And I'm like, I want to do my 200-hour training. I want this scholarship, da da da. Do all the application stuff. And lo and behold, I get an email back and I got the scholarship. And it was amazing. I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, yay. And that was amazing. It was like I think it was back then. And this was in 2012 that I really started doing like the research at the end of that year. And then 2013, like that like spring and stuff, kind of lining everything up. I think I'd gotten the scholarship by like October, November of 2012, and then the scholarship was for the summer of 2014, 13. And it went from like April to June or something like that. And so I was like so excited that I got it, and I was just like, this is amazing. And oh, like I said, that in itself was like, and this was 2013 we're talking about, but it was like $1,400 maybe for the training. And yeah, I got it for free, which was amazing and a huge blessing. And like I said, I had no means of being able to do something like that, and it was just amazing. And then but then like also reality set into, I'm like, okay, I manifested this, but like I still have a lot more to manifest, because like I am a poor art student. I am a janitor at the school as well, and I like really have no other means of income and whatever. And so I didn't know how I was going to save up enough to buy a plane ticket, which was like another $1,400 or so, and like just doing paperwork and just even having money to come back to, just all the things. I had no idea how it's going to work. But nonetheless, I just planned forward, and I was looking for tickets and looking for tickets, and finally it was getting close to like March or so, and I really needed to book a ticket, a flight, like to where like the school was like, all right, when are you getting in? Da da da. Like it was time to, I had to make some moves, and I only had like $700 or so to saved up so far for this ticket, which like I said was like 1,300 and some change, um, with tax and fees and blah blah blah. And so I'm like, fuck, like I'm only like halfway there. This fucking sucks, But again, I was very young. I was like 19. No, I just turned 20, and I had nobody relying on me. I had no children or anything then. I was just total solo bird, loving life, and just on this soul journey. I was just like, I am gonna do it, hook or by crook. I'm gonna spend every last penny. I don't care if I don't come back to any money. Like, I will survive. I'll make it work. I will scrap. I will make it. Um, and I like came from a pretty, I mean, my I was pretty poor, like not in the beginning of my childhood. Like we were really like settled middle class, like super happy and vacations, all the fun things. And not that my dad didn't make life fun, but he definitely struggled for money for a while there. And to where like I was financially dependent or independent from him basically by the time I was like 14 or so. I just was like, I'm not going to ask you for money because I know it's a sore subject, and I knew I couldn't do that. Like, and it's not like I was like buying my own groceries or anything. Like, he still did all of those things. But like, if I wanted to do anything extra, it was like I needed to pay for those things. So like, it's not that I didn't have a good work ethic or that I couldn't work. I worked all the time. It was just more so like I was used to already kind of scraping by, and that was like my set point of like, as long like I always make enough, and then we're always like good and whatever. And like, I don't know, my dad also, like looking back at like money stories and manifestation, all that stuff, my dad definitely didn't help when he would say things like he would relate stories or tell stories of him being a child or being young and being at the dinner table with his parents, and his dad would always say like, oh well, I wonder what the poor people are doing. And it was kind of a joke because like they were the poor people. There was like the pastor's family and wife, and like he felt so blessed for life and all of those things, but like they were not like financially like super well off. Like he made a very like meager, income and whatever. And like before that, he had fought in World War II. He actually survived D-Day, which is amazing. And yeah, imagine that, coming back from D-Day, and like, of course, the only thing you want to do is preach love and do whatever you can to unify this world, because holy shit, like going to World War II and then literally storming the beaches of Normandy. Like, I have a photo of him the day after of him doing that, and his face is all screwed up. He's got like all these bandages, and it's handwritten on the back. It was like a photo he sent to my grandma. Um, and it said like, stormed the beaches with my head or something like that, or with thy face or something along those lines, like, but made it out alive. and just like, love Ralph. And it was just like the craziest shit that our ancestors and have like gone through even in just the last 150 years is just fucking wild. But anyway, that was a tangent. But anyway, yeah. So like my dad was always kind of used to being poor, and then like when he did like reach a good peak of like his career, and then tragedy hit him and he had a downfall basically. And then he was kind of used to just being poor for a while, and then he like got, a little bit in a better mental health situation, and has since way bettered his own situation and all those things. Super proud of him. But anyway, um, so yeah, I guess I was already just used to being like poverty to poor to like barely middle class, if you could call it that. So anyway, I had $700 and I was only like halfway there to buy this ticket, and I had to do it by like this like Friday or whatever, and it was like the day, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm fucking doing. But again, I was dumb and I was just like blissful, and I'm like, today's the day, I'm gonna buy my ticket. I'm like looking at my bank account, like I know I don't have enough in there to buy this ticket, but like I'll figure it out one way or the other. And so like I remember going to work that day, and I worked at like the school that I went to, and I was just like sitting there doing paperwork, whatever. I'm just like, all right, I've got to order this ticket. I've got to order this ticket. And I had it pulled up on a email browser. Order the ticket, like it's something weird. I had to book this plane ticket. And yeah, I like had it, and I just like obviously hadn't like gone through and put the payment information in yet because I didn't have the money. And but I was like still just like, okay, I'm gonna do this by the end of the day, by 4 o'clock. It's like 1:30 or something. I'm like, I'm gonna do it. And I just had this like feeling of, again, I wasn't really panicked. I just knew it was gonna happen, and I didn't know how, but I was just like, it's just happening. I feel supported in every step of this way. It's just happening. And then I get this text from my dad, and he's like, call me if you can. And I was like, okay. And like, usually the only times he'd said stuff like that was like, sorry, brother. But like, if my brother was in trouble or in jail or something like that. So I was just like, oh shit. Okay, great. So like, go in the other room, like call him immediately, thinking like I need to bail my brother out of jail or something. And he's like, I can hear him like almost choking up on the phone. And him and I didn't really have the best relationship at this point. And he was just like, I really don't want you to go to India. And he didn't. He didn't at all. This was in a time where, like I said, it was like kind of the spring, like fall of 2012, spring of 2013, where like for whatever reason, all over the news, there was just all these terrible, terrible stories of like American or white women getting like, so white women, solo travelers getting like gang raped and murdered and all these just awful things. It was seriously all over the news for whatever reason. It was like, oh, like the minute that I was like, hey, I want to go to India, then like all these things came up on the news, and like my dad's like, you can't go, and like not with this, like maybe in a couple years, but like not right now, like you can't do it, da da da. And like like just family members, uncles, aunts, everybody just coming to me being like, don't do this, it's not safe. And I'm like, I'm doing it. Like, I don't care. Like, it's going to be fine. I'm not going to go get in any trouble. It's going to be great. And it was amazing. It was better than I could have imagined. And so anyway, so he calls me. He's like, I really don't want you to go, but I love you. And, I like just admire what you're doing and this whole thing. And I understand that it means a lot to you. And I want to help you as much as you can, or as much as I can. And so I'm going to wire you some money here. I've been saving up for the last couple of months. And it's not much. It's really not much of anything. But maybe it'll help you with something over there doing whatever. And he was like, I'm going to cry just telling the story. And he was just so like, just sweet. And it was like literally the first time like in my like life really, that he had even offered anything like that kind of help, especially like monetary. It was never monetary help, if anything. He would always be there if I needed him to move something or use his muscles, like, but like monetary, I could not. That was not something that I ever felt comfortable even receiving from him and or even asking for. So the fact that he called me out of the blue on this random day and was like, I'm wiring you some money right now. Can you just give me like your info? And I like gave him my info, my bank info. And again, he didn't even tell me how much. And he's like, so just like, I don't know, check in a little bit, make sure, I want to make sure it went through. I'm about to go to the bank and like, I'm going to make this happen today. And I was just like, oh my God, like, well, thank you, Dad. Like, it just, like I said, it was shocking. It was really fucking shocking. And so I like go back to my desk and like keep working. And I'm just like, oh my God, like that was fucking amazing. And also like I couldn't believe he was like giving me his like also like his mental blessing to go. Like because like I said, everything up until then was like, do not go. Like I do not want you to go. I don't want to hear about it. Don't talk about the plan to me, like, because I don't want you to go. Like it's not smart. You're gonna die, basically, is what he told me. And so I was just, yeah, overflowed with gratitude. Um, and I checked my bank in a little, like an hour after the call or whatever, and I looked, and he had wired me $700. And so, again, like I said, I was willing to be scrappy, and I didn't have to leave for a couple more months or another month or two, maybe. Maybe it wasn't even that long. Maybe it's just a couple weeks. Who knows? But anyway, it was early enough where I had to book my ticket, so it was probably a month or two in advance. And so yeah, so I had the 700 in my bank account, and then like I said, it was like 13 and some change for this ticket, and he magically out of the blue on this random day calls me up and wires me $700. So then I had $1,400 in my account. And then I went on that web page and it was like 1341.82 or something like that, and fucking bought that ticket and had like less than $60 to my name till whenever I got paid next, but I didn't give a fuck. And I had my ticket to India, and I was just like, holy shit, like now I just need to get ready for like going and doing my thing. And also I'd overbooked my ticket to where, like, not overbooked it, but I had my return coming back like a month and a half after I was done with my training. So I could just have some more time to travel and stuff. But again, need money for that bitch. So like, so yeah, so I knew I still had lots more saving to do because I still needed to survive up until then, and I needed to survive while I was over there, not making money, and I needed to get back to the States, obviously, and have some cash when I got back. So yeah, so that was basically my manifestation story of how I, as a broke art student, manifested my yoga teacher training and getting my plane ticket, not for totally free, but for like way less than what I like originally put on my budget sheet. So thank you, universe, for having all of those puzzle pieces fall together for me. And again, that really like kicked off my yoga journey as becoming a teacher. And side hint, I guess, I ended up going back to that same school to do my 300-hour a year later, 2 years later, year and a half later, something like that, 2 years later, less than. Anyway, but that is, again, a story for another day. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this because it's just really neat to see the way that unexpected things can happen in ways that they come out of left field and you're just like, what the fuck? You're like looking like everywhere. It's like you feel like you're panoramic viewing like everything, and you're like, where's the manifestation? Where's it coming? Like, where's it coming? I like hope it's coming in. Where's it coming in? You're like frantically like looking all like around you, but like it's like literally right behind like your head. And you're like, wait, I just need to like stop looking through these binoculars, put them down and turn around, and like, boom, there it is. Like, what the fuck? Like, wow, it was that easy. So like, again, just a gentle reminder, because I do this a lot to myself, take off the fucking binoculars. Stop looking for it. Just take off the binoculars, put them down, have a fucking chill pill, and turn around, and you might run into your manifestation. So, yeah, I hope this leaves you in a magical, loving, and awesome energy. And I will talk to you next week in my other episode about more yoga manifesting journeys. All right. Thanks, friends. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.